Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. It is now 21 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock, and this is your Spotlight on Now. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries will be hosting the TT Agri-Investment Forum and Expo 2, scheduled to take place from August 19 to the 21st in Port of Spain. The theme for this initiative is transforming agriculture through innovation and investment. And joining me in studio to talk more about this is the Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Mr. Avinash Singh. And joining me on Zoom is also Minister of Trade and Industry, Mrs. Paula Gopee-Scoon. Minister Avinash Singh, good morning. Mrs. Gopee-Scoon, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'm going to start with you, Minister Singh, only because I know that you are in the Ministry of Agriculture. That's where all the planning is taking place. Now, I know that the Investment Forum is meant to continue conversations that Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley would have had when he visited Guyana.
That's
what
right.
sort of continuation to those conversations can we see happening at this forum?
Okay, so firstly, good morning again, Kimberly, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here to really let the whole population know what this is about.
Yeah.
So coming from that meeting in Guyana, where our Prime Minister would have led those delegation in Guyana's Expo, the main topic was CARICOM's trust to achieving food security and reducing our food import bill collectively by 25%. So all the conversations in Guyana centered around how we as a CARICOM territory can really achieve food sustainability and thereby reducing our food import bill. So the conversations is going to go, as a follow-up to what took place in Guyana. We can see the Expo as well as the forum. So the forum is going to be first, and then the Expo is going to come right after. So Friday morning, we're expecting quite a large contingent of our CARICOM brothers and sisters, heads of states, who some of would be making presentations at the forum in terms of what they are doing in their respective country and what we are doing collectively.
Nice. And in terms of the forum and the Expo, because there's two different things. So what can we expect at the Expo? Right.
So the Expo is where the magic happens, I would say. As you walk in, I don't want to sell out everything yet. But based on the site visits, Minister Paula Gopee-Scoon, and then led by our Minister, Minister Kazim Hussein, over the last couple of days, the site is important, the site preparation, the venue. It's going to be very, very, very carnival style. It's actually going to be a village-styled expo. So as you enter, you're going to have heavy equipment, agricultural technology, innovation. All the new models in agriculture are going to be displayed, as well as all the subsectors in the agricultural and trade sectors, so that you're going to have from the primary producers, the market vendors, the farmers, people in apiary, people in hydroponics, livestock. We're going to have parts of the zoo there for petting. So it's going to be a real opportunity for especially our young ones, the children who is home right now. We're hoping that they come out in their numbers. And it's really to showcase our talent in Trinidad and Tobago and the region, because the booths are not just for Trinidad exhibitors, it's open for CARICOM. So we're going to have a number of exhibitors coming from CARICOM territories, also showcasing what they have to offer. And it's really to bridge that gap in terms of making the CARICOM market know, well, these are the items and these are the products available in CARICOM, and we would like you all to support these initiatives that are available.
Of course. Now, Minister Gopee-Scoon, I'm going to bring you in here because I wanted to know, in terms of the opportunities that you see for TNT with this expo, can you tell us about a few of them?
Thank you. So the primary objective would be improving our agri systems, of agri-food system. So Minister would have spoken about primary agriculture, primary production, but it goes beyond that, and it goes to processing as well. You would know that we import a lot. Our food import in Trinidad and Tobago is $5 billion TT, but across the region, you're talking about 4.7 billion US dollars. So it's along the entire value chain. It involves some amount of processing. So this is what it's going to be about, but it's also going to be an opportunity for investors. Because that apart from the traditional farmers, you do what if you're going to achieve the levels of food production that you want to achieve in terms and to ensure sustainability, it is that you're going to have to be able to expand your production, in terms of primary products, but also expand processing. So this therefore brings opportunities for investment across the landscape. And as Minister highlighted, it's not just about Trinidad and Tobago. So there's opportunities for investment in throughout CARICOM, opportunities for investment as well for the investors. So therefore, at that forum, there will be discussions on agriculture and innovation and technology, finance and marketing, trade and investment is going to be very wide. Food and nutrition, so that across the entire spectrum, across the entire value chain, there is interest created at that expo and at the forum, and the kind of discussion that is necessary to pique the interest and to invite the participation at every levels. As you said, it involves farmers to business persons to bankers as well. We have to be able to convince our bankers that this is a sector that needs investment and that they must support the investment climate in Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, Minister Gopee-Scoon, I know that you mentioned the CARICOM states are coming together, and we're also talking about those investors. I believe the Prime Minister would have mentioned some maybe partnership or collaboration with Brazil. Can you tell us how Brazil will be involved in this entire process?
I know, yes. I think Minister of Agriculture would be able to best tell you about that. But
Minister
I know
Singh?
that we do have someone from the state. I think he might, a state official from the state of Roraima in Brazil. And Minister would have been present at the last Expo and would have had discussions along this line. So perhaps he can join me here.
Yeah.
All right.
So if I can give some clarification, the state of Roraima, when we visited Guyana, President Dr. Irfan Ali took us to Letem, which is the border to Brazil. There we saw the real capacity in terms of economies of scale. So the state of Roraima, because they are so close to Guyana's border, the level of opportunities for fruits and vegetables and large-scale production of corn, soya, and those commercially viable products at economies of scale. And that's one thing Minister Gopee-Scoon mentioned in terms of the business aspect of it. At the Expo, we're going to have a business-to-business relation and booth so that persons who, whether you're from the primary sector or the manufacturing or agro-processing sector, you'll be able to, make interactions, make contacts, and so on. So coming from the state of Roraima is the capacity, not just for Trinidad and Tobago or Guyana, but the capacity for the region in terms of bringing their level of technology, their level of innovation, in terms of the raw materials that could be used in our processing sector. And one of the things Dr. Rowley would have really looked at, and we saw some great potential, is raw materials in the manufacturing of animal feed. Because, recently there were always, there's some talks in terms of the increase in the shipping, increase in the price of corn, wheat, soya. So that is the level of the conversations that is going to be taking place here in terms of what opportunities exist outside of CARICOM as well, where we can leverage using Guyana as that backbone, because of Guyana's landmass, they have the landmass, whereas the rest of the Caribbean may have the capital, the expertise, the opportunities, as Minister said, the banking opportunities, to really bridge that gap so that we really increase food security and increase our local production as well.
Right. Now, I like that you went back to Guyana in terms of having the capacity, but I feel like it's a big task to put on Guyana's shoulders to produce food for the entire region. So as a farmer yourself, do you see Guyana having that sort of capacity? I mean, yes, I know they have the arable land, but do they have that sort of capacity to really push, food security across the region?
I think as a team effort, because this would really encourage Caribbean integration and Caribbean unity. One country or one nation in the Caribbean region really cannot do it on its own. So it's really going to be a CARICOM initiative and a unified position between all nations, because everybody have their advantage and everybody have their sectors that is doing very well. And one thing Guyana saw in Trinidad, and that is what they're really coming here to see, Minister Gopee-Scoon alluded to it in terms of our manufacturing sector, our agro-processing sector, and all the byproducts that we create here. At this expo, we're going to have over 320 exhibitors. That alone can tell you the scale at which, and of that probably I would say about almost 90% is local.
Well, I was just about to ask, those
Sure.
300 exhibitors, what can we see? What sort of sectors are they involved in?
Right. So you're going to see from the basics in terms of the it's really a story we would like to tell in this expo, from the traditional means going all the way up now to the agricultural systems that doesn't even require sunlight or soil. So you're going to see from the farmers market points of view. We're going to, NAMDEFCO is going to spearhead in a farmers market on the compound. You're going to see the livestock section. We will also have a poultry pavilion, and the poultry sector in Trinidad, I must say, is one that everybody around the region really aspires to be. Our poultry sector is one that contributes significantly to our GDP. And so all the players in the poultry sector, from the processors to the actual farmers, they're going to be involved. The feed manufacturers, they are going to be on display in terms of what the availability or opportunities exist. We are also going to have the downstream sectors, and this is most of which falls under Minister Gopee-Scoon's ministry, in terms of the chocolatiers, the value added, even somebody as simple as making the dragon fruit drink or ice cream. All the value chain. Agriculture is so wide. In fact, it almost touches on everything: woodworking, sawmillers, forestry users, agro-processors. And then you're going to have the technologies, the hydroponics, the greenhouse farming, climate smart technologies being displayed, aquaculture, fisheries. You're going to have everything agriculture.
And you said representatives from around CARICOM will be
representatives
assembling
from
here.
around the region,
Yes.
both heads of state, ministers, as well as exhibitors. That is another layer in terms of we have designated a booth, an entire tent for CARICOM participants, and let me tell you, it's filled to capacity.
That sounds good. Now, Minister Gopee-Scoon, I'm going to bring you back here because I wanted to address inflation quickly. We are talking about reducing our food import bill. I believe that the last figure we had for inflation was about 5%. Do you see, when we actually get this off the ground, do you see it being a reduction in our inflation rate?
Absolutely, because it means that you're buying at your cost. Within your country or within the region, and certainly you're not going to have that significant freight charge, which has really escalated probably by 400% over the last year. That has been significant. Not only that, you were completely dependent on your suppliers abroad, and they suffered from a number of issues as well, including adverse weather conditions, shortage of labor supply, etc. The war contributed to it as well. If we are food secure, it means that among ourselves we are producing for ourselves first, and then to export. So definitely there is an inflationary effect. Certainly we should see a decrease in inflation if we're able to produce and satisfy our own needs with regard to agriculture and become totally food sustainable.
Nice. Well, of course, this conversation could go on and on, but unfortunately, we are out of time. So, Minister Gopee-Scoon, let me tell you, thanks so much for joining us. And, of course, all the best with the Agri Expo that kicks off on the 19th of August. Thank you so much for joining us. And also you, Minister Singh, thank you for coming in and making yourself available. And all the best to you and your ministry for what we are hoping is a very, very successful event.
Thank you very much.
And that was Minister of Trade, Minister Paula Gopee-Scoon, and the Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Minister Avinash Singh, just sharing exactly what we can look forward to at the Agri Investment Forum and exhibition that's beginning from the 19th until the 21st of August. We have so much more coming up on the Now Morning Show. Stay with us.